you don't know today's guest, you know his work. In 2009, this young man covertly filmed Acorn officials around the country handing out advice on how an underage prostitution ring could better take advantage of federal housing programs. Because of his work, Congress passed legislation to remove federal funding from Acorn. Building on that success, he launched Project Veritas. Just last month, Project Veritas released footage of an executive denouncing Republicans and cozying up to undercover activists posing as Muslim Brotherhood-financed potential $5 million donors to NPR. He's James O'Keefe, and he turns 27 this year. Welcome, James.
Good to be here. Good to see you.
Acorn, NPR, Planned Parenthood. At first it was just you, Hannah Giles, a camera, and some absurd costume. Now there are others who've taken up the cause. You've caught some amazing stuff on video. What hidden camera revelation has surprised you most?
Well, I don't think necessarily anything is surprising. I think it's shocking. There's a difference. What we show on our tapes is we show everyday normal occurrences of these organizations. Acorn employees giving you sort of tax assistance and shady tax assistance. I think everyone could have expected that. No one was surprised by what they saw. NPR executives acting swarmy, acting elitist, cozying up with Muslim agents. I don't think anyone was surprised by that. So I think what we do is we show everyday normal occurrences of these organizations. And the reason why it's so revelatory is because the media hasn't been doing that. We're compensating where places they won't go. So I think nothing's frankly surprised me. I mean, the New Jersey Teachers Union investigation, we showed teachers bragging about how difficult it is to fire a tenured teacher. Everyone would expect that. But I think the difference is you're seeing it on video, you're seeing the audio, video, images, and that's what really leaves an impression in people's minds.
What are you investigating? You want to give us a little preview of that?
Well, we have been focused so far on things that we believe are not being adequately covered.
Such as?
Well, I mean, so far the things you've seen released. I mean, with the NPR, Acorn, Planned Parenthood. I mean, these are organizations that the media would never dream of sending out investigative reporters to do. So I think you're going to see institutions we choose to go after are the ones that we believe the establishment press, like I like to call it the establishment press, some people call it the mainstream media, refuse to investigate. What does it say about the Washington Press Corps when it takes two people in their 20s to expose Acorn? I mean, this is an organization tied to the president. And I think with the NPR story, the fascinating thing about the NPR story was we sort of stepped outside the boxing ring and we went into the box seats. And we went after the media. So I think one of the things I'm really passionate about personally is exposing the media itself, investigating the Watchmen. Because it's not just that you investigate the organizations. The media is not doing the job. So I think you're going to see a lot more investigations into the media itself.
Are you going to look at public officials?
Public officials for sure. I think with hidden camera work you have to be very careful with your ethics because we try to avoid things about people's private, personal lives. We try to go after people who get taxpayer money is a big thing. People in the course of their public daily routines in terms of their jobs. We always walk into these offices between 9 and 5 p.m. NPR was a business lunch, a business meeting. So we try to go after public officials, taxpayer-funded institutions, and media entities.
You've used the word crony capitalism. What is it? What does it mean?
Well, it means that I believe, this is my opinion, that one of my philosophy is that big business and big government are scheming together to hurt Americans. And it's not just big government.
Big business and big government.
And big government. Some people like to call it hudge and grudge. Big business and big government scheming together, helping each other out. And I'm passionate about not just exposing big government, but also exposing big business. And if they get taxpayer money with TARP and other things, is that ethical? Is that right? Shouldn't they be held to the same standards as government organizations that receive taxpayer money? So I think you're going to see us try to look into that in the future, looking into Wall Street or organizations which have been influenced by taxpayer money.
Wall Street, the banks.
The banks, specifically the ones that got bailed out. That's something that I think a lot of Americans would stand behind regardless of your political ideology, conservative or liberal.
Now, you've also done some smaller projects.
Mm-hmm.
You did one in New Jersey with the Teachers Union?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we did an investigation into the NJEA, New Jersey Education Association, which is the largest teachers union in the state. We went to their leadership conference, and we caught union leaders on tape talking about how hard it would be to fire a tenured teacher. I can't even repeat what they said because it's, I don't know if there are children watching this broadcast or anything, but they were talking about the sexual things they'd have to do to get fired.
Wow.
They were talking about they wanted to kick Governor Christie in his toolbox, as they called it, and wanted to slander him and these things. So we caught these union officials on tape. Teachers were suspended after our investigation. Chris Christie gave a speech, and that was that was back in October, right, when a lot of these union debates got started. That was a huge story in New Jersey, and I think that story was great because it was a local story, and we'd like to do more of that in the states. New Jersey, Wisconsin, Virginia, a lot of these local state battles we'd like to get involved in and do local investigations. Every teacher in New Jersey heard about that story, and we got to clean up our act, guys. Teachers were telling me that they had heard about it, and we got to be careful about what we say. And we did a follow-up investigation on the NJEA. We called up a superintendent because we had reason to believe a superintendent was using racial slurs against a kid. And I had a colleague pose as that parent and said, "Did you use racial slurs against my kid?" And so we do a lot of different creative things to expose these public officials.
Now, you've been known as doing a drip, drip, drip approach to journalism.
Right.
You kind of just slowly put the stuff out. Why? What does that do for you?
That's a great question. That is one of the central things to what we do. We not only expose these institutions, we allow them to lie about what we've exposed. An example would be with the Acorn investigation. We had about something around 8 or 9 cities on tape, all of which were complying. We released the first one in Baltimore, Maryland, where the Acorn employee was saying that they could help us classify the underage hooker as a dependent on the tax form. We said we didn't say we had anything else. What CNN did immediately was they said, this is an isolated incident, and they got thrown out of all the other offices. The media literally lied because they didn't have access to all of our other information. Then on the next day, we released the second video. Now, fast forward to NPR. The first video we released, we showed them meeting with the Muslim Brotherhood group. We showed the guy saying, what are the next steps in getting this donation? NPR said, we rejected the money. The day later, we released a video of them saying they would help keep our donation anonymous. The reason why we do this is because we give our subjects the opportunity to put their foot in their mouth. And we say, are you virtuous enough? Will you tell us the truth about what happened next? And every single time they lie, every time. And it only goes to show you that not only are these institutions unethical, but they're willing to lie about the fact that they're unethical. And that's why we do that.
Well, I don't think you put your foot in your mouth at all today here, and I don't think there's any lying going on. Anything you want to tell us to expect that's going to be coming out? When should we expect something new about one of these financial institutions or banks?
Well, I would say have some patience because we need money. We're trying to build an organization. And right now we've got a lot of tips, a lot of volunteers, and I'm working with them. It's hard to say, whether it's going to be a financial institution or a teachers union or a media entity or what it's going to be. Depends on what we get and moving forward what we do. But our website is theprojectveritas.com or exposenpr.com. And stay tuned. You might see something really unusual in the next week or two. We have a music video, actually. So not a hidden camera investigation, a music video, something that we've been working on to sort of, because we do all this serious stuff. Occasionally, it's good to have a good time and have fun doing it. So we might do something musical. So stay tuned for that.
James O'Keefe, president of the newly launched Project Veritas, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.